on purpose, sing like a singing on key. Talk to the girl that intimidates you, pretend that you're brilliant and charming. I said pretend that you're brilliant and charming. Hey!
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. Later with Jason Suel. So glad that you're tuned in. And I'm so glad you're tuned in for this episode in particular because, guess what? It's midpoint of the season right now.
Already?
Season 8. I know. Middle of the season. It feels kind of weird because we've been Zooming with so many guests, and it feels different. Obviously, this whole season has been different. But we're going to look back over the season so far at our great interviews, our chefs, our musical guests. And to help us do that right now, Bo, you're going to stick around, but we've got Crystal Martinez joining us. You may know Crystal. She does the news on Fox 24 on the weekends. Crystal, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on here.
Well, it's our pleasure, obviously, to have you. And maybe if our viewers aren't familiar with you, Crystal, can you give us a little bit of your background and then what you do there at the news station?
Yeah, so I am from Dallas, Texas. I've been in news for about, oh my gosh, almost 4 years now. Started off in a small market in Oklahoma, and now I'm here in Northwest Arkansas. You'll see me reporting out in the field during the week and then on the weekends behind the desk. So hopefully you're watching Fox News at 9 before this because you would have seen me on there.
That's right, absolutely. And, you know, you say you're a transplant. You came here from the Dallas area.
It's a pretty common story here in Northwest Arkansas.
It is.
I'm from Dallas. Now I'm in Northwest Arkansas. So,
yes.
So welcome.
Yes.
Thank you. No, it is. And I think it's because it's kind of like that small city urban feel without the traffic. And I'll take that any day.
Any day. Absolutely right. Now, since you have moved here, I'm curious because our show is so Northwest Arkansas focused on our region. What do you love about this area?
Well, I gotta say, and I have to mention this too, when I first started working here, I was only working maybe 9 months until the pandemic hit. So I actually felt like I didn't really have a chance to really dive in just yet. You know, even now that things are reopening, I'm still kind of, you know, waiting to finally like go and adventure and look at new stuff. So I have to say by watching your show, just meeting the local community and the things that they do here, it seems like everyone here is so willing to give back. And I mean, you could see it through street art, through food, through the museums. I mean, so hyper local here. And I don't think you can get that really anywhere else.
I know, we are really lucky. And so that's what we're gonna do on this episode, folks. Stick around because we're gonna be talking about all of our interviews that we've had on the season so far, those great tasty meals our chefs have prepared, and we're gonna get to hear some awesome music as well. So Crystal's here, Bo is here. We're having a lot of fun. Stick around, it's all happening later. Oh, I like that, keep that going.
Sam's Furniture doing good. Shine a spotlight on your neighborhood.
Well, we are here at Sam's Furniture, and we've got Jenny Sorey from Hub of Hope. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, thanks for having me, and thank you to Sam's for providing the opportunity.
Man, we love it here. They always set us up so nice. They put us on a really comfy couch
Very
today.
comfy, very comfy.
Very comfy. Tell us about the work Hub of Hope does in our community.
I would love to. So we are a nonprofit based here in Northwest Arkansas. We work to bring healing and opportunities to victims of human trafficking, and we provide prevention and education to the community. So we do that in a variety of ways. We do a lot of awareness and education events where we teach the public to recognize the markers and identifiers of human trafficking. And then we also do lots of outreaches. Our hope is to come in contact with survivors, many who don't even know that they're a victim of a crime, and help them move from that place of entrapment, enslavement, exploitation into a life of freedom and restoration and healing.
I love that. Say I wanted to get involved. How would I do it?
Hey, we love volunteers. In fact, at this time, we are an all-volunteer organization. And so you could reach us on hubofhope.org, and we're also on social media at Hub of Hope NWA.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny. We
Thanks
appreciate
for having
you.
me. Boom. Hey.
Ooh.
Come on.
All right, everybody, welcome back. So glad that you're tuned in. Crystal Martinez is here, Bo Counts is here, and we're kind of walking through season 8 so far because we're at the midpoint of season 8. And right now we're going to feature our interview guests. We've had a lot of great interviews on the show. Crystal, can you speak to any that have kind of stood out to you in season 8 so far?
Yeah, hands down, Rachel Bell with her Last Meal podcast. Love the concept. Loved hearing from her. Also, she got to interview Rainn Wilson. I listened to that podcast as an Office fan. Oh my goodness, so jealous.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I mean, it got me thinking, man, what would be my last meal?
Right.
Which, by the way, I've decided chicken fried steak, mashed potatoes, and mac and cheese.
Oh, now that is a down-home meal if I've ever heard one, and I absolutely love where your taste buds are at right there. That's right. Rachel Bell, she does an awesome podcast. She's up in Seattle, Washington, and you can check her out. She's all over the place with this last meal concept for her podcast. Bo Counts, what about you? Have you had a favorite interview guest?
Oh, man. Well, remember when we had Cassie Self on and we were filming down at Pinpoint for our Halloween episode,
Yes.
talking about spooky movies, talking about the film industry, talking about Halloween, all my favorite things, and we were in my favorite place.
Yeah.
It was such a fun, a chance to get out of our normal routine of doing just stuff on the couch from our homes.
Yeah.
And it was one of those first times where we're like, you know what? Let's go on location. Let's do it safe and do it fun. And that was a great episode.
Yeah, and kudos to you because you made Pinpoint look absolutely outstanding,
Thank you.
man. It was very cool there. Awesome stuff. I'd have to say that for myself, I really loved our interview with Randy Wilburn. He is another podcaster, but his podcast is focused right here on Northwest Arkansas, where he kind of reaches out to people who are thinking about moving here and then shows off how great Northwest Arkansas is. So his vibe and kind of Later with Jason Suel, the show vibe, really mesh well together. But that's enough of us talking about it. You know what? Let's let our viewers see kind of some clips of some of these great interviews we've had on season 8 so far. Check it out. Do you have any guests that you are like really jazzed about getting on your podcast?
Number one favorite is the fashion designer Isaac Mizrahi. Him and I just hit it off and clicked, and he is one of the most hilarious, warmest people. He doesn't have that, you know, I'm a celebrity, I'm up here and you're down here kind of thing. If he likes you, he likes you. And we struck up a friendship, and he ended up sending me a jar of his homemade tomato sauce, which is a part of his last meal. So that was really special.
Because you worked on the film Resurrection County, and I think somebody who worked with you on that film is now coming back to the area to do another film. Can you fill us in, kind of tease what's happening with that?
One of the co-stars on the film, his name was Adam Huss, and it was about this same time of the year that he was here from LA to film this movie. He has done some amazing things back in LA and worked on some major projects. And all of a sudden he texts me and says, I'm coming to Northwest Arkansas again to do another movie. And he's actually filming with Jenica Schwartzman today out in LA, who's also shot many movies here. So seeing all the interconnectedness that's happened in Northwest Arkansas over the last 15 years is, I mean, amazing.
So just about 6 years ago from the time that we're recording this, my family and I picked up stakes, moved from Boston, came here to Northwest Arkansas, and we haven't looked back.
Can you give us your best Boston like little accent there?
Boston. Well, see, here's the thing. I'm not from Boston originally, so that's why when people see me out, they're like, how come you don't like the Patriots or the Red Sox? And I'm like, oh, my family's from Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
so.
how come you're not in the mafia?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, no, all of that is, there's no Boston accent. So
That's right.
My boys are wicked smart.
Wow, we have had some great interview guests on this season of Later with Jason Suel so far. And guess what? That's not it. We've got more. We're going to be talking about music. We're going to be talking about food. It's all happening later.
I find myself compelled to make a short film, but I find myself lacking the tools to do so. I have a vision with motion shots, focus pulls, different lenses, properly exposed outdoor shots, slow motion, and so much more. I must find a way to make my vision into a line.
Reality. Okay, reset. Wait. Tail sight. Okay, reset.
Where'd you get all this stuff?
Welcome back, everybody. So glad that you're tuned in. We're walking through season 8 so far because we're at the midpoint of the season. We've got Crystal Martinez from Fox 24 joining us. We've got Bo Counts, of course, here. Guys, we're going to talk about musical guests right now, and we've had a lot that we featured here on the show. Any favorites? Any kind of stand out to you, Crystal?
Yeah, I would say Ashton Barbary. I loved watching her performance on the ukulele. I mean, she just has a beautiful voice. And honestly, music is one of my favorite things here in Northwest Arkansas.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, and with the pandemic and everything going on, it's just nice to hear from them and hear them perform again. It's just, she's incredible.
Yes, so uplifting, absolutely. Bo Counts, what about yourself?
Well, I mean, you just hit the nail on the head about what's going on with musicians during this pandemic right now. They're not getting to play in front of audiences. They're not getting to fill up these music venues like they used to. And Smokey and the Mirror, when we had those guys on the show, not only are they talented musicians, but they're giving back to the community because they're so involved in Roots Fest. And since Roots Fest couldn't happen, they did the Meals for Musicians program, and it was so cool. Those guys, man, they are, if there's anything that embodies Northwest Arkansas, Smokey and the Mirror.
I totally agree with that. And one of my favorites so far has got to be the rap artist Bang. Jeremiah Pickett goes by the name Bang, and he is awesome. His music videos, we featured a couple on the show in the last couple of seasons, so you got to check him out. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to look at some clips of some of our music videos so far. Check it out. I say this every time, but we are so fortunate to have such great musical guests on this show. We hope that you have enjoyed them so far, and we got many more planned for the rest of the season. So tune in with us every Saturday night at 9:30. But stay where you are, because we're not done yet. We're talking food when we come back after this short break. Come back with us. It's happening later. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the show. Later with Jason Suel. We're kind of walking through season 8 so far, and we've got Crystal Martinez here. We've got Bo Counts, as always, and we're talking about food. And I think that we all three can agree that it is probably our favorite segment on the show.
Easily my favorite segment.
Easily.
Even though in this Zoom world we can't taste everything like we used to, it's still my favorite.
I know. Crystal, have you seen any chef segments so far that you're particularly excited about?
I mean, I have to give a shout out to Chef Tavares Jones.
Chef.
The mac and cheese cuisine, I mean, delicious. I've even had it before. He's made it for us, but I loved watching him in his kitchen going through it. Oh, he cracks me up. I remember he said, I don't normally do measurements, but I'll do it for y'all. And I just, oh my goodness, I was laughing so hard.
Yes.
But he's a favorite, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, one of the things that I really like about him is that he went above and beyond and actually masked up and came down here to the studio and brought us the mac and cheese so we could try it after he made it on the show. So
well, and I also love seeing some of these new studio people in their element that's not behind the desk.
Yeah.
You know, because even ourselves, when we're in front of cameras, we have this version of ourselves that people see, but then we got to see Tavares at home with his mac and cheese.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Awesome.
And we have a couple of good cooks here. I have to throw her out. Jessie Pierre, she makes delicious Haitian dishes. So
oh my gosh.
I thank them, because I can't cook. And so my mom's always like, what are you eating? Please don't let it be fast food. And I'm like, no, Jessie's cooking, or Tavares is cooking. Someone's got me.
Oh my gosh, we got to get Jessie on the show then. Bo Counts, what about for you this season so far? Who's the standout?
Well, I mean, you got to go all in on the smoked and grilled meats. So every time we have Chef Stephen Brooks on, it is a magical thing. And, you know, since we can't have him in the studio playing drums for us or cooking up ribs, we get to go visit him on his porch or his patio, wherever he's at, smoking it up. And, oh, Chef Brooks is just
awesome.
Always taking my heart.
Absolutely, and he, again, like Tavares, went above and beyond and brought us some steak after he made it for us on the grill. That was awesome to see. And I got to give a shout out to Chef Erin Rowe, because Erin has kind of pulled double duty many times on our season so far, where she's come in for multiple interviews to kind of give us a real taste and feel of what she does in her kitchen. So let's check it out. Let's check out some of these clips of our chefs on season 8 of Later with Jason Suel so far.
And it's going to go in the oven for only 25 minutes at 350, and it's going to come out all bubbly and crispy on top. And so this is what it's going to go in the oven looking like. So you got your whole thing right there. That's your macaroni and your all that stuff.
Ooh, that looks delicious, man. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with us and to give us that recipe and to give us some tips. Thanks to your grandma for hooking us up with some great stuff here. Tavares, we really appreciate you.
So if the grates are running this way, I lay my steak kind of at an angle, okay, like this, and then the second flip is at that same angle, okay, and then the third flip, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give it
so
that
you get that crisscross like on TV.
Yes, sir.
That's exactly
that was the
right.
secret. Look at that. Oh my God.
It's got the cross hatched.
Oh, that looks beautiful.
The Aztecs were the inventors of hot cocoa, and the Mayans, that time period back in like really early times, this was a ceremonial drink. And that's when we get sort of a hot cocoa or cocoa drink. Now, hot cocoa is a little bit different from
You know,
hot
the darker side of the rest of that story is they would drink the ceremonial hot cocoa and then they would take the sacrifice up to the Chocmool and remove their heart.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Well,
so
we're
there you
not doing
go, a
that
little Aztec
today,
history
though,
for you.
although if you're volunteering, you can come over.
Yeah.
And it will see what we can do.
We've obviously
I'm pretty handy
transitioned
with a
away
knife.
from that. Yummy, tasty, delicious. I mean, just words I would use to describe some of these chef segments we've had so far. Remember, they're all on our YouTube channel right now. You can check it out. But before you do that, just come back with us. We got something special happening at the end here. Stick around, more happening later. That's it. That's our episode, folks. And we are at midpoint of season 8. So glad that you tuned in. And we got to give a quick shout out to just our sponsors that help make this show happen each and every week. And obviously, our interview guests, our musical guests.
And don't forget the food.
Oh, where would we be without that food? How could we forget that? That's our show. See you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.